Welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Mina Daniels. Now the headlines. Ghana's Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayakoboche, emerges new Secretary General of the Commonwealth as President Bola Tinubu expresses confidence in her leadership qualities. Federal government pushes for extension services delivery bill. Plus, Bosch AFCON 2025 qualifier cap awards 3 points, 3 goals to Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu is congratulating Shirley Ayakoboche, Ghana's Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, on her election as the incoming Secretary General of the Commonwealth. On Friday, leaders of the 56 Commonwealth nations meeting in Abuja, Samoa, elected Boche, a 61-year-old former lawmaker who has served as Ghana's foreign minister for the last 7 years, as the 7th Secretary General. In a statement, the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, expressed belief that Boche's extensive career in public administration, foreign affairs and regional development makes her a perfect fit for the job. President Tinubu looks forward to working with the incoming Secretary General to advance the Commonwealth's vision of fostering peace, equity and prosperity for all member nations. The Commonwealth 56 members have agreed that the time has come for talks about the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade in a landmark summit declarations that raise the prospect of future preparations. Kolom Mohammed has that report.
The gathering in Samoa, with leaders from Britain and dozens of former colonies, held lengthy and occasionally tense talks over one of the most sensitive aspects of their shared and troubled past. In a joint statement, Commonwealth leaders noted call for reparatory justice for distasteful transatlantic slave trade and the enduring effects of dispossessing indigenous peoples' apprenticeship and colonialism. A joint Samoa communique says the time has come for a meaningful, truthful and respectful conversation towards forging a common future based on equity. African, Caribbean and Pacific nations want Britain and other colonial powers to atone for slavery and other ills of colonization and start talks about compensation. Many remain poorer than their one-time colonial masters and are still scarred by the brutal trade that saw an estimated 10 to 15 million enslaved people ripped from Africa over 4 centuries.
Let us learn from the lessons of the past. Let us be proud of who we are today, and together let us forge a future of harmony with nature and between ourselves that our children and our grandchildren deserve.
And the acknowledgement of the Durban Declaration and Programme of Action that slavery and the slave trade, including the transatlantic trade, as appalling tragedies in the history of humanity, not only because of their abhorrent barbarism, but also in terms of their magnitude, organized nature, and especially their negation of the essence of the victim.
While Britain had expressed remorse for slavery in broad terms, London has balked at the idea of paying financial reparations, which could come with hefty price tag. During this summit, London tried to avoid making explicit commitments while trying to retain some semblance of Commonwealth unity. Kolom Muhammad, NTA News.
And in a move to combat trade barriers, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, in collaboration with the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, has launched a non-tariff barrier reporting app. The app enables traders and people involved in business to report all non-tariff tax-related challenges they face while doing trade across African Continental Free Trade Area.
Happiness Nyiti is a thriving exporter of sisal fiber, sharing her products not just in West Africa, but also reaching markets in Europe and Asia. The introduction of the new app, designed to tackle non-tariff barriers or NTBs, has been transformative for her business. She says the new digital tool aims to empower African nations to effectively manage non-tariff barriers and boost intra-regional trade. It works by gathering information on a logged complaint, the location it happened, evidence via video or picture of the incident. The query is then sent to relevant government agencies in the said country. Intra-African trade currently accounts for only 15% of the continent's total trade and holds the potential to triple this figure by 2030.
The first NTB which was being resolved, we have already saw the result. We used to get payments from Ghana, it was 50,000 USD, but now you can get even 200,000 USD. After CFTA interfered, communicated with the Central Bank of Ghana, and they adjusted from 50,000 to 200,000, so that you can see there is a big improvement.
In addition to tariff-related challenges such as taxes and levies, non-tariff barriers or NTBs present significant obstacles to trade. NTBs include restrictive policies and regulations impacting businesses, with consensus among all 54 African nations on product standards being a notable hurdle. Additionally, discrepancies in information can create complications during custom checks at borders.
You find there's always delays. So if you find a trader coming from Tanzania going to West Africa, they'll be stopped at the border for 14 days, 21 days, because that particular officer is not aware of the protocol or the tariff that should be charged in that particular good.
The potential for intra-African trade is immense, yet key supply chains face disruptions due to geopolitical tensions in both the Red Sea and Black Sea. Raphael believes the time has come for Africans to trade with Africans to build economic resilience. While the African Continental Free Trade Area offers significant benefits, such as increased market access and economic integration, it also faces challenges, including infrastructure inadequacies and differing regulatory frameworks.
Well, Georgians on Saturday voted in elections that will determine the nascent democracy's European aspirations amid growing concerns of ruling party drifting towards Russia. Kolom Mohammed tells us more.
The parliamentary elections pit an unprecedented union of pro-Western opposition forces against ruling Georgian Dream, accused of stifling democracy and pivoting towards Russia. Brussels had warned that the vote will determine European Union candidates' chances of joining the bloc. Opinion polls in the country of 4 million indicate opposition parties could get enough votes to form a coalition to supplant Georgian Dream, controlled by powerful billionaire Bidzina Ivanishvili. Pro-Western President Salome Zurabishvili said the vote will determine Georgia's future, while the chair of the United National Movement Opposition Party, Tina Bukucheva, promised a great day of national victory. The Central Election Commission said the vote was running smoothly, but the opposition shared videos of alleged ballot stuffing incident in the southeastern village of Sadaklo. Bukucheva says Bidzina Ivanishvili's thugs are desperate to cling to power and will resort to anything to subvert the election process, stuffing ballot boxes, bullying voters, and beating observers. Mamuka Nazari, a ruling party leader, rejected the claims as a provocation staged by the opposition, while the Electoral Commission nullified all the votes cast at that region. Georgian Dream says it is confident it can win a commanding majority of the 150-seat parliament, calling for maximum mobilization of its supporters. Election watchdog, the Young Lawyers, reported significant electoral violations. Kolom Muhammad, NTA News.
And now to Mozambique, where supporters of opposition candidate Venancio Mondlane have rejected the results of the presidential election, which gave victory to the ruling party's Daniel Chapo. Demonstrations began immediately after the National Election Commission declared Chapo winner of the vote, while Mont Lane came second with slightly over 20%. Mont Lane, who is backed by the Podemos party, claims he won the vote and has accused the election authorities and the ruling Free Limo party of fraud and manipulation. Even before the Election Commission's announcement of results, the country was already tense following the killing of two opposition figures close to Mont Lane. And for 5 days, professionals in their fields of studies were taken through a rigorous training on climate negotiation by the National Council on Climate Change Secretariat, NCCCS, and partners. At the end of the training, participants drawn from various MDAs at both state and federal levels said their skills and knowledge to engage in productive negotiation for Nigeria at COP29 have been great.
For 5 days, these participants were taught to abreast themselves with the United Nations Convention, the Kyoto Protocol, and Paris Agreement, where the cooperation to collectively combat global warming and keep temperature well below 2 degrees Celsius, while building the capacity of nations to mitigate and to adapt to the impact of climate change was forged. They were taught the intricacies of negotiation, the need to first of all understand the peculiarity of the Nigerian climate challenges, and then guard their emotions as they engage with nations at the negotiation room.
The National Council on Climate Change of Nigeria has been able to set up this kind of training workshop to make sure that these potential negotiators actually deliver on behalf of Nigeria.
We are able to, first of all, negotiate on behalf of the nation the various points that has to do with climate change as it impacts persons with disability.
One of the things we learned was the trend, and on the second day we learned about the mitigation approaches, the things to look out for, having a common front as a country.
I have learned so much about climate change, causes, effect, mitigation, adaptation, and even the purpose of the training, that's the negotiation.
Impressed by the show of commitment from participants and the drive to build a formidable and competitive negotiators for Nigeria, DG and Chief Executive Officer of National Council on Climate Change, Dr. Nkiruka Maduekwe, challenged participants to bring to bear the institutional knowledge gained as they face counterparts from developed nations.
I'm seeing participation. I'm seeing the desire to learn. I'm seeing that in your submissions. You don't know that. And I'm seeing partners for life. Migration is for 4 years, up and go. But there's not like institutional knowledge.
To further test their skills, the negotiators were formed into clusters for a simulation exercise. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
And in the face of an impending global energy crisis and the imperative to combat climate change, the integration of artificial intelligence, AI, into the energy sector stands as a seismic shift in the way energy sustainability is approached. Consequently, the Polymer Institute of Nigeria, PIN, and Raw Materials and Research Development Council has rejigged the commitment towards optimization using artificial intelligence for economic recovery, CNG conversion, and clean energy development. Justin Bemuyi reports.
The consideration of the integration of artificial intelligence into the energy sector now is a move that many believe would go a long way in leading to a new wave of industries in the sector. This, experts say, will eventually provide the required raw materials for the other industrial sectors, leading to re-industrialization of Nigeria, and hence providing a sustainable solution to the paradox of the Nigerian economy. At the 34th Annual Technical and 6th International Conference of Polymer Institute of Nigeria, in collaboration with Raw Materials Research and Development Council, the president of Polymer Institute, Professor Paul Ejikeme, said the institute is working seriously to make sure that they will contribute greatly to responsible use of polymers.
People are proposing the banning of polymer. It is even not possible for polymer to be banned, because if we know what polymer goes beyond even the plastic bags, the plastic buckets that we see. everything, including the dresses we are putting on here, are all about polymers.
As polymer scientists, what we are saying is that we now need to let our scientific community and engineers use artificial intelligence, learn how to use it to optimize polymer production.
And one other challenge that has always come to us and that has gone to you is the issue of biodegradable polymers. It has remained a challenge. It has been a challenge to all polymer scientists, and it has been the challenge of manufacturing. It has been an issue even in the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. The menace of plastic waste is a challenge. So one of the ways to look at and address that issue is if you can develop biodegradable polymers, especially from various resources.
The 6th annual conference of the Polymer Institute of Nigeria was held with the theme Polymer Optimization, using artificial intelligence for economic recovery, CNG, and clean energy development. Justin Bem.
Let's take a break. More reports shortly. Glad to have you back. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security says it will persuade and lobby to ensure that the Agricultural Extension Service Delivery Bill before the National Assembly is passed. Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, says the bill is designed to be a game changer for Nigeria's agricultural system. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
The proposed Agriculture Extension Service Bill is currently before the National Assembly. The bill was drafted in partnership with the key players in the Agricultural Extension Service under the guidance of the Women Farmers Advancement Network WOFAN Icon 2. Dr. Salamatu Garba is the country director of WOFAN.
Is to have a well-defined extension system in Nigeria where roles and responsibilities will be spelled out. We really want to understand the different roles at national, state, local government level. We want the farmers to know what exactly are their rights and what they really need to deserve. We want to have e-extension system that will be able to meet the ever-growing population in Nigeria. We also want to build the capacity of extension workers so that they'll be able to deliver more.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, stated that with about 70% of the population involved in agriculture, it is important to ensure they receive the technical support they need to achieve optimal outputs and good income. He declared that this is where extension agents become very important, stressing that having the right extension delivery system legislation will boost sustainable and resilient agriculture in the country.
Which means food should be available all over the place. So how to produce this food is what extension agents are designed to help you achieve. To show you good agronomic practices, to teach you how to plant, when to plant, where to plant, and how to take care of what you have planted, how to harvest, how to process, and all of these things. So under what we call generically good agricultural practices.
The Executive Director of the National Agriculture Extension Research and Liaison Services, Professor Emmanuel Ikani, stated that the bill will provide a legal framework for a sustainable extension delivery system that will translate research results and technologies into success for farmers. Statistics reveal that Nigeria is among the countries with the lowest population of agriculture extension workers. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, stakeholders in the agricultural value chain are in Abuja to validate the Nigerian Integrated Agribusiness Agenda, which represents a strategic initiative by Nigeria Agribusiness Group aimed at transforming Nigeria's agribusiness sector. Haman Jabani reports that the initiative focuses on empowering small-scale producers.
The Nigeria Integrated Agribusiness Agenda aims to improve small-scale businesses, analyze critical challenges in the agro-business sector, and leverage opportunities to foster sustainable growth and economic development in the sector. The NIAA outlines both short-term and long-term goals that is expected to shape a robust and inclusive agro-business agenda that will drive Nigeria's agricultural sector forward. President, Nigeria Agro-Business Group, Kabir Ibrahim and other stakeholders say the implementation of the NIAA is expected to result in increase in agricultural productivity and efficiency, boost economic growth and job creation, improve livelihood and financial inclusion, enhance food security and reduce post-harvest losses, as well as strengthening value chain among others.
Their produce is becoming important, that they are now getting value for what they produce. Now, to make this sustainable, we need to tell the smallholder farmer to exit from smallholder farming to small-scale processing so that they would add value to whatever they produce.
We're going to discuss on what actionable plan we can take to make it possible for our smallholder farmers to have access to these finances at affordable interest rates.
It will be owned by all. It will be owned by the government. It will be owned by the private sector and also the farming communities, and we believe it will showcase its strength in fostering development along the agribusiness value chain.
The validation will look at key components that include government, finance, market access, as well as the role of farmer, agribusiness, and government. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has invited the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Works, to appear next week unfailingly before its Committee on Public Accounts to explain the alleged non-execution of a 1.4 billion naira contract to construct the Gideon Wire to Kano Federal Highway, which transverses through Kaduna State. Chairman of the committee, Bamidele Salam, says the ministry is here to respond to several invitations by the Parliament to give the status of the road project.
To answer to this very weighty allegation that a contract sum awarded in 2022 for 1.4 billion naira had been fully paid for but remains unexecuted. Honorable colleagues, as we speak, we have neither received a correspondence from the Federal Ministry of Works, either in writing or verbal or any form, and here we are today in this hallowed chamber waiting for the appearance of the concerned Permanent Secretary.
At another parliamentary sitting, the House Committee on Federal Road Maintenance Agency has reasserted the need to fast-track the rehabilitation of dilapidated federal highways in the country to ease the pain of commuters.
To Asaba. The road has been dualized, but you will fight from left and right from Benin till you get to Asaba. Sir, before now, Onitsha to Enugu used to be fully dualized road, but because of our lack of quality attention to maintenance, Onitsha to Enugu is no more the kind of highway that you and I can be proud of.
The challenge is, I need 1 million naira. What is available is 100,000. So the issue now is, how do we manage this lean resource to address this enormous challenge?
The Northern Senators Forum has expressed concern over the power outages in many states across the northern region and appealed for federal government's intervention. In a statement, Chairman of the Forum, Senator Abdulaziz Musa Yar'Adua, said the outage resulting from vandalism and national grid disturbances has slowed economic activities, affected healthcare delivery, and imposed expensive fuel costs on citizens as small businesses are struggling to operate and livelihood impacted. The forum wants federal government to prioritize repairs on the Shiroro-Kaduna transmission lines, enhance security to prevent vandalism, and support renewable energy, as well as mini-grid solutions to provide sustainable power options. The statement acknowledges the progress made in power distribution under the current administration and appreciates efforts to improve the sector, stating, however, that more needs to be done. The Disciplinary Board of Confederation of African Football, CAF, has awarded Nigeria 3 points and 3 goals from the botched Match 4-day encounter of the 2025 African qualification serials scheduled to be played by Libya and Nigeria in Benin on the 15th of October. In its ruling on Saturday, signed by the chairman Otsman Ken, the disciplinary board ruled that the Libya Football Federation, found to have breached Article 31 of the African Cup of Nations regulations, as well as Articles 82 and 151 of the CAF Disciplinary Code. The match number 87, Libya versus Nigeria of the CAF African Cup of Nations qualifiers 2025, scheduled to be played on 15th October in Benghazi, declared lost by forfeit by Libya by a score of 3-0. The Libya Football Federation is ordered to pay a fine of $50,000 US. The fine is to be paid within 60 days of the notification of the present decision. All other and further motions or prayers for relief are dismissed. The implication is that Nigeria is now poised to qualify for the 2025 African Cup of Nations with 2 matches to spare. With this decision, the Eagles are now on 10 points from 4 matches, 4 points better than second-placed Benin Republic, while Rwanda have 5 points, bottom-placed Libya have only 1 point and are out of the running for qualification. Victory or draw against the Cheetahs of Benin Republic in Abuja on Thursday, 14th November, a match day 5 encounter will land the Super Eagles a ticket to the finals in Morocco, December 2025 to January 2026. And now a check on Sunday's weather prospect for Nigeria and other cities of the world. This is where we end the news. Thank you for watching. I am Mina Daniels.